So today we are going to talk about annotations and uses. So that is what the topic. How to use the TestNG annotations in automation framework? Okay, fine. First of all, what do you mean by annotations? See, annotation means it is used to control the program flow or automation test case flow. If you want to control it, means we can use annotations. Okay, and you will feel that the TestNG annotations. How many annotations are there? There are many annotations. Like people always during the interview they will say this: before suit, before test, before class, before test, before method. But if you go into the deeper side is what is the use of that one? They are not able to answer it. So before we go to the annotations, actually we'll understand that actually what is the use of these annotations, right? That you need to understand. First of all, I'm doing some kind of testing. Okay, I'm doing some kind of manual testing or functional testing, whatever it is. What I will do actually, first of all, I need the environment. Okay, environment is whatever the things we need. I need the database. So what I have to do, I have to connect with the database. Agree, right? Because why you need to connect with the database? Whatever the things I'm giving from the UI, right? I need to send it to the database, right? So for that, what I have to do, I have to establish the database connections. And what are the other things I have to do? I have to, what is that? Create the test data. Why I need the test data? Because to perform the testing, I need some kind of test data. For example, if you are going to create the sign up means or member creation, provider creation, something. What you have to do, you need the some set of test data, right? Something first name, last name. What is that? Provider name means what is the specialty providers, right? Those informations, everything you need the test data. So generally the test data, how you will be getting, sometime people will be creating in the Excel, sometime people will be creating the JSON or whatever it is, right? So you need to create the test data. Then what you have to do, if you want to run it on the particular, okay, same test case, okay, you'll be running on the particular VM, virtual machines, right? Or, particular environment, virtual machine or environment. What do you mean by virtual machine and environment? Virtual machine or environment. Sometimes, your client will be looking for, your client may ask like, hey, this application has to be supported in the Windows, particular, what is that server, like, 2000, what is that, 19, Windows 2019 it has to support. They will say that. And also they will say this, the particular browser it has to run. It means, they will sometimes they will use Edge, they will sometimes they will use a Chrome or, different browsers also. Just a sample purpose, I'm taking this only two browsers, right? So you need to ensure that, the particular Windows 2019 app server, right? And the browser is, everything's ready. Those things you have to set. See, listen carefully. Before you proceed the testing, you need the database connections. Sometimes what they will do, what is that? Some other settings also they will do. The database, maybe it is connected with the third-party application, means that third-party application also we need to establish it, right? Fine. Now creating the test data. You already know that how to create the test data because you must be knowing about, right? If you are the functional testers, you must be knowing about the test data, everything, how to prepare it. Your project perspective, you will go and create it. Virtual machines, actually. Virtual machines are environment. Virtual machine means we'll be using the Windows 2019. Some people they will be using the Linux. Some people they will be using the Mac, right? And the Linux also, some people they will be using the Linux also. There is a different version, right? Ubuntu, something, right? Or sometimes they will use the Mac. We need to ensure the environment is ready before you run the test cases. Agree? Then Again, you will feel that. And suppose, for example, assume that you are running as an automated test suite. You are running as a automated test suite something in the particular VM means what you have to do. You must be having the old test result, old logs, right? Why the what do you mean old log? You must be run the previous suit run, right? The previous suit run, everything what you have to do. You have to take it as a backup. Take the backup of right. Take the backup of your previous run or your previous logs, right? Or result. This everything what you have to do. You have to take the backup or snapshots, screenshots, everything you have to take the backup. Getting? So this kind of activity, how many times you have to do? You have to do only one time. What do you mean only one time actually? You have some set of test cases. What is the set of test cases? Test script one. Assume that actually, okay. Test script one. Okay, test script 2, test script 3. Time being, I have assumed that actually I have only these 4 test cases. Okay, 4 test cases. We can call it as a test scripts or test case. So this test cases we are calling as a suite. Why we are calling as a suite? Because suite is nothing but a collection of test scripts or test cases, right? Collection of test cases or test scripts. Please understand carefully, otherwise you won't understand the annotations. The explanation I'm giving that how it is related to your annotations. That's what we are going to talk about that. Okay. First of all, you are doing the database connections, you're writing the test data, ensuring the virtual machine is ready, and take the backup of your previous logs. It means previous suit run logs. Right? Previous suit run log, a result, a screenshots, everything you have to take it. Why you need to take it and keep it safely? That's why you have to do that, right? Fine. You did the backup. Fine. Then what is the next one actually? Then you can run your test cases. So what will happen? Your test case, before running the test cases, you are doing all the things, right? So okay, fine. In this, I'm taking the first test case, right? What you will do? You will open the applications, right? Open the applications using your browser, whatever the browser. Assume that actually I'm taking the Chrome browser. What you will do? Your test scripts, your test case will be running. Right? Then what will happen? I'm closing the browser. Why? Because my test case, once a test case runs successfully, you will get the result. You will be running and you will get the result. Whether it is passed or something, right? Passed or failed, something you will be getting the result. That's what you will be getting the result, right? Same manner, first test case is done. Second test case, what you will do? Again, what you will do? You will run the, what is that? You are open the applications, same case. Whatever the test cases, your test case 2 will run. This is test case 2. This is test case 2 will be running, and you will get the result. Once your execution done means what you will do? You'll be closing that. Right? Same case for test case 3, test case 4 as well. Getting? Now, what do you mean by annotations? I told, right? To control the program flow, to control the program flow or automation framework flow or what is that? Test scripts flow. Okay, this is what you are going to do there actually. For example, you'll feel that bus what by program flow, automation flow, something like how it is happening actually. First of all, what we are doing actually? This is nothing but database connections, test data, virtual machines, and we are taking the backup of suit previous one. Then finally, we are running the particular test cases, everything. So here the suit is nothing, it's a collection of test cases. Let's go to here. What is that? Our what is that? TestNG. What in by suit actually? Let me go to here. Okay, I'm going here, here. I'm just go and creating the particular one is annotations example. Okay. I'm going to give you only the dot only. You guys have to try it. Okay. I'm not going to explain with all the real-time example. I'll be giving some kind of hint in the particular program, but you have to apply it in your applications. Finish. Right. So whenever you do that means automatically what it is happening actually, immediately I'm getting this kind of program, right? What is that? One is XML I'm getting, another one is the class I'm getting this particular test engine class I'm getting. This is what the suit. You'll feel that, but how this suit is related to this one. I'm saying this suit is nothing but this one. What in by suit I mentioned here is suit is nothing but it's a collection of test cases. How? This is a suit, right? This suit is, I'm going to put it as a, what is that? Regression suit. I'm going to put it as a regression suit. What in by regression suit? That is nothing but what I mentioned in the earlier one. If you see about the previous one, suit is nothing but it's a collection of tests. How many tests we have? We have only one test, but in the real time, you may have multiple tests as well. Okay. What do you mean by test actually? Collection of classes. In the real time, you may have more classes, but right now I have only one class. Okay, what do you mean by class? Class is nothing but, this is a class, right? The class is nothing but your collection of test method. Right now I have only, what is that? Only one method. That is, assume that actually I'm going to put it as test case one, something. Assume, okay. I'm not going to put any kind of, Gherkin statement, sorry, any kind of, what is that, code over here. Just I'm going to put only for training purpose, I'm just putting only, what is that, sys statement only, system.println statement only I'm going to put it, okay. So assume that it is code is there, it is executing test case one. Okay, fine. So similarly, I may have n number of test cases as well, right? Test case 2, this is test case 2. So totally, how many cases I have actually right now? I have two test cases, right? I have two test cases. Okay, now let's go here. Please be focused. Otherwise, you will lose it everything. Suit I mentioned, suit is nothing but it's a collection of tests. Interviewer may ask, lots of people are getting confused in this particular line only. If we ask it, if you are not able to explain about this one, people will be feeling that you are the fake. You don't know, you don't have the experience. So please understand carefully. Suit is nothing but it's a collection of tests. Test is nothing but a collection of classes. Class is nothing but collection of test method. Okay. So now let's go before that actually. What this is a test method, right? Test case one. It means test scripts one. What I have to do? I have to open the applications. So before executing this one, how to open the applications actually? You should use before method. So before I have to write it before method public void open app. What is that? What is the use of this one? This will help you to open the application. Open browser, or we can call it as open application using Chrome browser. Okay, that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so this, what is the use of this one? It will open the application, it will execute this test cases. That's what it is doing. Once the application, the script is executed, means what you have to do? You have to close it. So after method, okay, public void close app. The screen is not visible. Hello, sorry for that actually. Screen is not visible. Let me stop sharing and one more time I will do that. Good morning, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Are you able to see my screen right now? Are you able to see the screen? Okay, great. Sorry for that. I don't know how it is. It was sharing only. But anyway, I'll repeat one more time. Okay, whatever I explained right now. We are going to talk about the topic right now is we are going to talk about the TestNG annotations. What do you mean by TestNG annotations? Very, very important questions. Most of the people, they will explore more about Selenium. They won't explore about this TestNG because TestNG is a more and more important one. What do you mean by TestNG annotations? TestNG annotation means to control the program flow. Okay, or we can call it as a what is the automation workflow, or we can control the test script flow. How we are going to control it? Generally, if we are going with functional testing, okay, we are going with the functional testing. What you will do? First of all, you have to establish a database connections. Why? You have to open the SQL server. You have to establish that the server is up and the database is connected, so that you can do the testing. Right? Database connection is mandatory. Then what you will do? You will prepare the test data. Right? Then what you will do? You will create the virtual machine. Why? Because you may in some test cases, you have to execute it in the Windows, or you have to execute it in Linux, you have to execute it in the Mac. Maybe we have to use it in the different browser, right? Some people, some client is saying this, hey, my product has to support for two different browser, Chrome as well, Edge as well. We need to support it. And what will happen if you are, if you are going to the VM means virtual machines or any of the system means, what will happen? You must be having the previous log, right? You have to take the backup of all the logs. Why? Why you are taking the backup of all the logs and snapshots and the cells? You should show to your client that actually, boss, see, I ran it in yesterday. This is a log. Today, if something failed means, then you can show them actually. This is what the difference between the previous run or current run. You can show it to a developer as well. Something, bug is coming means, till yesterday it was working, today is not working. Some kind of, right? So you have to do the backup. Now you'll feel that why you are explaining this kind of things instead of annotations. There is a connection between that one to here. Okay, now you are going to run that, your manager is asking that run the regression test suite. What do you mean by regression test suite? That is nothing but a collection of test cases. So what you will do before every test cases? Open the browser, execute the test case, close the browser. Open the test case, execute, sorry. Open the browser, execute the test cases, close the browser. You will do in a similar manner, right? Agree? So, how to do it with the help of the annotation? That's what I'm explaining about that. You'll if you see here is I have only the, what is that? This is a test case. Assume, okay, this is a test case. This is a test case. What I have to do? Before executing every test case, what I have to do? I have to open the browser. After executing this particular test case, I have to close the browser. Why? You'll feel that, but why you need to close it open it and close it every time? Think about that. If you're doing manual testing, means one time only your browser will be opened and you will keep on doing the testing. That's fine. But in the automation testing, Selenium will be opened using the session, right? You need to ensure that the session has to be closed so that unnecessary memory space will be released. The VM will be, RAM space will be occupied more and more. So that's what they are always saying this. Open the browser, do the testing, close the browser. That's a best practice. That's what we are doing then. Okay. Now you'll feel that this stuff is okay. How they are, what is that? Related actually. What in be related to the annotations? That's what. Okay. In these cases, we know only this one and this one. Right? This is I told that actually it's a regression suit. Okay, you already know what it be class. Class is nothing but it's a collection of tests. Test is nothing but it's a collection of classes. Classes are nothing but it's a collection of test method. This is what the explanation as of now I explained. Now, how to relate with this particular annotations? Okay, so what you have to do means before executing this test case, I have to open the browser. That is already there. Open the browser. After executing this test case, I have to close the browser. That is already there, right? But how to establish this, database connections? These are all the one-time activity, right? Every time you will go and establish the connections. Only one time only you have to do, right? And also you will be creating the test data for the assume you have that 1,000 cases. You generally what you will do, you will be creating the test data collectively and put it in the repository. That's what you will do, right? Every time go and create the test data, it will be taking time. So the assume depends on the project, it will be vary, but general create the test data, one time activity. Ensure the VM is ready, one time activity. Ensure the backup is ready, one time activity. Here is how to put it there actually. That only, that is a annotations called, what is that? Before suit. Okay. What in by before suit? Before running the suit, you're going to run the suit, right? Okay. Public void take old suit run log reports. So what will happen means here is you have to write the code. What is the code you have to write it? Take all the backup. What do you have to do? You have to take all the backup. You have to write the code. Okay. Time being, I'm putting only the English statement. Sorry, system.println I'm putting. But generally, in the real time is you have to put it. You have to put the code over here. Again, will they ask in the interview? Don't worry about that. Just they will check your understanding is, do you have the understand or not? That only they will check it. They won't ask you to know how to take the backup, everything. Ask the program. They won't ask about that. Even they also, if we, I am working in this industry for last 17 years. If you ask me, I can also write the code immediately. I can't. I can't. Why? Because it's a kind of some set of codes, right? So you can't remember it everything. You know the logic. Okay, so generally people will be Googling nowadays, ChatGPT, everything. From that only they will take the copy. Okay, so what do you have to do? Before running this entire suit, what is a suit? This is a suit. Before running this entire regression suit, this is a suit, right? This is a suit. Remember that actually. People will muck up before suit, before test. But how the before suit is working, they don't know that actually. So before running this entire regression suite, okay, this annotation will be executed. What is annotations? Before suite. What it will do? It will take the old run. Old run means the previous run. And what is that? Log report, log, right? Reports, snapshots, screenshots. Everything you must be having the particular VM, right? It will take the backup. Take backup of, okay, all the one. And you'll feel that this annotation will be automatically called. Yes, you'll feel that. But generally, we talked about the Java session, right? Generally, if you want to call any method means, we need to use the instance like, object name dot method name. That's what we studied in that Java session, right? But how it will be called automatically? That is what this annotation is going to help. This annotation is a kind of listener stuff. Okay, it's a kind of listener. Very simple bus actually. There is a mixie. Okay, you are putting that. Coconut, chili, everything in putting inside. Actually, you are pressing the button only. Automatically, it is running. How it is running? There is some kind of mechanism they put it inside, right? Automatically, the what is that? The blade, everything it will rotate automatically. Similar manner, here is what will happen means this before suit will automatically called whenever you are triggering the suit. Which suit? This suit. How to run it? If I'm doing like this, do the right click, run as means, run as test in the suit means automatically what will happen? This will be called first. Before executing the suit, which one will be called? This one will be called. See that? Take the backup. Take the backup of old run suit. How it is called? That is what annotations. See that? This is what first called. How it is working? That is what annotations. We are controlling the program flow. We are controlling the program flow. Hey, before executing the suit, run this suit. That is before suit. Okay, team. Now, what about okay, this is done. Okay, what is done? This is done. And again, I want to establish a database connections. What do you have to do? Generally, what do you have to do? You have to establish a public void DB connections. Again, there is no written rule that you have to put it on data connections under this one, take the backup under this particular annotation. Not like that. It's up to you. Where do you want to keep it? Because your project behavior, everything based on that, you can put the annotations. Some no need to use some all the annotations. If you need, you can use it. If you don't need, remove it. No issue. Okay. Now, DB connections, where we can put it actually, put it under the before test. I'm putting under the before test. What I'm going to put it here is before establish DB connections. Okay, establish DB connections. So what will happen? After running this before suit, this before test will be executed. You will feel that. But how this is before suit is before test is called automatically? Is it called automatically? Why? Because before executing this particular suit test, before test, here is a magic. Okay, not magic. People always confuse. Whenever I ask an interview to the people, I will always ask about that actually. What do you mean by before test and before method? Before test and before method. They will give the explanation that before test will be executed before every test. Where is a test? They will say this is a test. people will get confused about this test, this test, this test. Why there is a confusion? Because the people, this TestNG is derived from the J unit actually. Okay. In the J unit test, this kind of annotation they used it actually. That's what, these guys are, actually, these guys, they have to put it like, they should put it at method, but it is derived from the J unit, right? They just take the copy as it is. In the J unit test, they are calling as a test. So TestNG also they are calling as a test. But the name is confused, right? Method. That is what people is getting confused. Let us go to our topic. What do you mean by before test? I'll always ask this kind of question. What is the difference between before test and before method? Before test means this annotated method, listen carefully. This annotated means the annotation method will be executed before every test. Where is a test? This one, this is not the test. Here is a test. Okay. So before executing this particular test, listen carefully. Before executing this particular test, this annotations will be executed. That is what before test. Getting team. So what it will do is it will establish a database connections. And what about this one? This is nothing but it's a test method. Test method. Okay, then why they put it as a test? Because the J, it's derived from J unit, right? The J unit, they use it as the same annotation. That's what they copied the code and they are, enhanced and they put the name as TestNG. Okay, these guys, what I'm just saying, okay, how to name, how they would have named it here means at the method they should mention that, but at least at test method something they should have mentioned it here, but they forgot to do that. Because of that, always our techies are getting confusion. It means learners are getting confusion, not techie. Learners, beginners, they are getting confusion. Sorry. So in the interviews, they are asking what is the difference between before test and before method means before test will be executed before every test in the testng.xml. What do you mean by before, when then, what do you mean by before method? This before method will be executed. Before method means again they'll be confusing actually. They are thinking that this is different, this is different. Not like that. This is completely only one before method, annotated method that will be executed before every test method. This is what the test method. Test method is nothing but your test case or your test scripts. Getting team? That's the way you need to remember that actually. Your test cases are test method. Okay, this is very, very important questions. You should remember that. Okay, fine. Okay, boss. My database connection is done. Then what about that actually? I need to create the, what is that, test data, right? Where should I put it actually? Assume that actually. What do you mean by test method actually? Test method is nothing but a test case, okay? Assume that actually this classes need one set of test data. Class A need one set of test data. Assume that actually this particular annotation example class is looking for Excel. Annotations example 1 class is looking for JSON. Annotation 3 example 3 is looking for flat file. Then another one is looking for some other data, CSV data. Assume that. So what you have to do means you have to put that logic accordingly, where here is you have to put that actually before, what is that, public void prepare test data. I'm putting generic statement, prepare the test data. where you are going to put it before class. Because why I'm putting in the before class? Again, there is no written rule that you can put it anywhere. Just for training purpose, I'm saying this. Before class is what you have to put? You have to put it under here. Here is create, what is that? Test data. Create test data using Excel or CSV. CSV already know that, right? Comma separated value. Okay, or a tab limited one, or what is that? JSON. You can create the test data. So what will happen? Your test data. When it will be executed? Before executing every class. This one. Right now you have only one class. But if you go to the real time, you will be having multiple classes. So what will happen means the member class one, member class, provider class, you'll be having the multiple classes, right? So before executing that particular member class test scripts, prepare the data and use it. Before executing the provider class related methods, prepare the data, execute it. That is what this stuff. Okay, now this is also done. Now, what about this one? You will feel that. Ensure this, virtual machine, everything. Here is what you can do means, if you want, you can put it here also, or you can put it here also, or you can put it in, what is that? In before suit also you can put it. There is no written rule that single stuff single annotations cannot have multiple actions. Not like that actually. There is no written rule there. In the single annotations, you can have multiple actions as well. So you'll feel that, bus, the virtual machine environment, everything. Where can I put it actually? You can put it in here as well. It's a one-time setup, right? What is that? Prepare your environment. That's the thing. So now this I'm going to run this, I'm going to run the test case. What it will do, which one it will be run, where is a suit? This is a suit. So before running this particular suit, what will happen? This will be executed. Okay. Once that is done, then what will happen? The flow is always, see, your test engine will be directing that actually. Your test engine will be directing. Because how? Because you are always going to run through your test engine. But in the real time is how the flow will be. The flow would be like, what is that? Your form.xml. XML. Where is the form.xml XML actually? Here is a one. Right? Here is a one. SRC test Java Mercury, right? Where is it? This is a one. Annotations. I'll take the name from here, 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 here. Okay. So in the real time is what happen. In the real time, I'm talking about the real time. Asdo or Jenkins or GCP or what is that, AWS, whatever it is. This is the CA tool, right? What they will do in that pipeline is what they will do. They will use a pom.xml. What in by pom.xml? This is what the pom.xml, right? In the pom.xml, what it contains? It contains a suit details. What in by suit? That's a testng.xml. Okay, testng.xml. So this testng.xml, what they will do, they will be simply clicking on the button in that CA tool. They will click the button or automatically also it will be triggered. Okay. So this CA tool will push the will trigger the pom.xml. Why? In the pipeline is they will be pointing this particular, they would have mentioned that pom.xml. So the pom.xml contains the test.xml. The test.xml variable contains, here is the one, right? Then it will trigger that. What is that? Before, this is the order, right? Before executing the suit, this will be executed. Before suit annotation method will be executed. Then before executing the test, this will be executed. It will establish the connections. Before executing the class, this will be executed. Before executing this, what is that? What is a class? Class is nothing but it's a collection of test method. So before executing this particular one, before method will be executed. After executing this particular test method, after method will be executed. Then again one more test method. Before executing this test method, before method will be executed. After executing this test method, after method will be executed. And what about that actually? Again the same track. Test cases are done, right? Then what do you have to do? Here is before suit, before test, before class, before method, test method, after method, right? That is the flow is done. Then what you have to do? Every test cases are executed means then again after class, after test, after suit. Here is we didn't mention, but we'll mention over here. What do you have to do? Similar manner, it will be executed. How? I'm just copying this whole stuff. Okay. After suit. What is the use of after suit actually? What is that? If you want to, what is that? Close the environment. You can do the take a backup as well. You can do the take backup as well, but still you forget to do that. One more time also it will do. You can take the backup after running the suit as well. Okay. If it is already done, it will ignore. Or you can prepare the environment or close the environment setup. Okay. After test. What in by after test actually? It will initially we establish connections, right? Now what do you need to do? We need to close the DB connections. And what you have to do? You have, after class, you have to delete your test data. Why do you delete the test data? Sometimes it is a sensitive test data, right? What do you have to do? You have to delete it. Otherwise, people will misuse it actually. So delete the test data. So this is what the flow. This is what annotations. Let us run it actually, how to run it. Now, instead of running this one, I'm going to run this way, okay? Do the right click, run as Maven test. I'll prepare the TestNG, okay, then I will try to run it with the help of the TestNG as well, so that you will understand the entire flow. Oh, what happened? Please remove, okay, class path is what it is. Where is the annotations? Here is annotations. Where it is SRC test Java. Annotations example.xml. Okay, so it's a Java confusions actually. Let me resolve that actually. Okay, this is nothing but it's a Java versions actually. Java version related issue. I'll try to resolve that. Okay. Give me a moment. Otherwise, I will resolve this issue later, okay? Because it's a class path issue, Java stuff issue, because I'm using the JDK 1.8 only. I don't know why it is creating the trouble. I'm using the JDK 1.8, but still it is giving the trouble. Let me resolve it later. Let me run through test.xml, okay? Run as test suite. See that? How the flow is working. First flow is, what is that? Take the backup of your old suite run. Agree? How it has worked actually is the one. What we did actually, take the old backup. So automatically old backup is done. Then what will happen? Prepare the environment. It is preparing the environment. Then establish the DB connections. That is create the test data. That is, then what is happening? Open the applications. This is. Then what will happen? It will run the test case one. That's a one, right? Test case one. Then close the browser. Then again open the applications. Then execute the TC. Then close the browser. Then what will happen? Whatever the things I did it, parallel it is doing them. See that? Create the test data, delete test data. Open the connections, close the connections. Take the backup or environment, close it everything. So this is what called as a annotations. Now people will ask about that actually. Okay, people will ask about that. Okay, how you know how many TestNG annotations you know? Tell them that there are many. Okay, but time being, I just explained one. What is that? This stuff. You can tell them that actually before suit, before test, after suit, after test, after class, after method, test method. These are all the annotations. Now I may ask, assume that actually same questions. What is the difference between before test and before method? The answer is before test annotation. This will be executed before every test. Right now I have only one test, but in the real time is you may have, what is that? Two tests also. Similar manner also you may have. So what will happen? This before test, okay, before executing this test, what will happen? This will be executed. Okay. What about this before method? Before method, it will be, before method means this one. This will be executed before every test method. It means this is a test method or test case. Okay, team. Let me go to one more. I have one small documentations over here. Okay. There are many annotations in this one. I'm just reading that only. You can refresh it. Okay. There are multiple way of using the annotations. A test method, right? Where is a test method? This is a one, right? This is a one. This one is this method marked as a test case used for defining the individual test cases for UI actions or backend logic, right? So this is what we are marking as a test case. Agree? What do you mean by before suit actually? The before suit. Where is the before suit? We already saw that, right? This is the one before suit. This is the before suit. In the before suit is I just used for take up the backup, prepare the environment. But in the some people, what they will do, they will use it for preconditions before the entire suit run. Right? What do you mean entire suit run actually? In the real time is it will happen, right? You must be in the people who are working in that real time. They'll be using multiple suit, right? Some people they will call it as a smoke suit. Some people, they will call it as a regression suit, right? Regression suit. Some people, they will call it as a integration suit. There are so many suit you must be having, right? Some people, they will say this, go no go suit. Sometime interview may ask this kind of questions also. How many suit you have? Put it like anything. You should impress the interviewer. That is what the questions. But how the suit is everything coming? Everything is, what is that? Your TestNG.xml only. That is nothing but your smoke suit. Right? This one is regression suit. This one is integration suit. Then go no go suit. Likewise, they can have n number of suit. See that? But in the real time, is different classes, different test name will be there. Okay, but I'm just saying. See that how many suit I have? One suit, smoke suit, another suit is regression suit, another suit is integration suit. You can have one more suit as well, right? So that's what they call it here. Suit is set up the environment before entire suit run. We have three suits I mentioned in that notepad, right? Before run the particular suit, you can initialize a web driver and log into the systems. So our case is generally in our example is I always use the initialization of browser everything in the before method level, right? That's what we talked about in this particular example, right? If we go here is in my cases, the browser everything initialized. Here only I'm doing the initialization, right? But some people, what they will do, the browser initialization everything where I'm doing in the before method. Some people, what they will do, they will do the web driver initialization everything, log into the system everything in the before suit level. It's up to them. There is no, that's what I told you. There is no written rule that you have to do it here or there. How your application is working, accordingly you can put it. Okay, so what is the use after suit? Clean up after suit, closing the browser, clearing the test case. It's up to you. In my cases, always I put it in the before method. Okay, one of the other browsers they are doing in the class level also. One of the my previous product is they are initializing the browser everything in the test level. In the current one is I'm using in the method level. Okay, in my friend project, they are initializing the driver everything in the before class level. It's up to them how the application is okay accordingly. There is no written rule that you have to put it here or there. Whatever the things you are saying, this and be strong and explain to the interviewer. What about this after suit actually? After suit means you have to close web driver or clear the test data everything. What do you mean before test actually? That will be running every test. Okay. See that actually they mentioned about very clearly. Run before the first test method of test tag. Please carefully. First test method of test tag. Test tag in TestNG.xml. That is the thing. Okay, like starting the browser. That's what you'll feel that starting the browser, everything here also there, here also there. That's what I said. It's all depends on that. So refer my example and inform to the explain to your interviewer. They will be impressed. This is just for I'm going through that actually. Before test, after test, before class, after class, before method, after method. Okay, there are different different purpose they are using this. Okay, this is I just got it from the ChatGPT for explanation purpose. Here is they are what is that doing in different manner. Okay, every people depends on will be different means sometimes they will keep it in the before class, sometimes they will be keeping the before test level as well. There is no written rule that you have to put it here and there. Okay, now let's go for this one. Data provider, parameters, factory, before group, after group, ignore. What about this one? These are all the annotations. Yes, these are also annotations. you'll feel that what is the use of this annotations? We'll talk about more on this one. Okay. Before I go to the down the line, did you understand about the all the annotations whatever I explained right now? This before suit, before test, before class, before method, test method, and whatever the art test of everything. Did you understand, team, that one? Do you have any kind of doubt? It's very, very important. People will check the whether you have real example or real time experience or not. They will capture from here. This is very, very important. If you write it in the paper and explain it in very well manner, people will pick you easily. Okay, bus. What is that? Take 1 lakh salary or 1.5 lakh salary per month. Okay, great. Next is we are going to talk about, before we go for this one, we'll talk about the ignore. What is the ignore? That is one of the important annotations. Okay, ignore. What do you mean by ignore? Ignore is nothing but, what is the English meaning for ignore? Ignore means I don't want it, just ignore it. I don't want that, ignore it. That is what ignore, right? So similarly, if we don't want to, I have some test cases, okay? Assume that I have one test case. What is the test case? Test case 2. I don't want to execute this particular test case 2. I want to ignore it. How to ignore? That's what we are going. How to ignore it? That is what we are going to talk about that. So the thing is, in TestNG, they are using this kind of tag at ignore. Please listen carefully. This at ignore, it is in J unit actually. Sorry for that. The at ignore tag is they are using in the J unit. Then what about our TestNG? To ignore the test cases in TestNG, I'll repeat one more time. The at ignore, this particular annotations, they are using the J unit. For TestNG is what they will do means, if you want to ignore it means, what you have to do? You have to use this statement. Okay, so don't confuse with that. How to ignore the particular test is actually, the thing is, assume that actually, why do we need to, people may ask in the interview, have you faced any kind of real-time example? Can you explain with some real-time example? Simply if you are saying this first, if I am putting that, enabled is equal to false, if I'm putting, okay, if I am putting this enabled is equal to false means my test case will be ignored. Okay, then they may ask actually, very good explanation. Okay, then do you have any kind of real-time experience? You can explain them actually. Sir, I have some kind of 10 test cases. Okay, the 10 test cases is I want to run only the 5 test cases. So what I did means I just added this enable attribute. Then automatically I triggered the suit. The 5 cases are skipped, ignored. Then what you got the result? In the result is 5 cases, 10 cases are coming or 5 cases only. In the, what is that? In the result is I got only the 5. Getting? Now let's see that. Here is how many cases we have right now. Right now it is run 1 TC, 2 TC, right? Now what I'm going to do means I want to ignore this one. I want to ignore this TC executing the test case 2. What I did actually to ignore it actually, this is what I did it, right? Test case, test enabled is equal to false. Simply added this attribute value, that's all. What is the use of this one? Ignoring TC. Okay, ignoring TC. How now I am running the TC, okay? Now I am running this particular one. Run as Oh, it is deprecated. Sorry, it is deprecated. Okay, because I'm using the latest TestNG, that's what it is deprecated. Give me only 1 minute, okay? I'm using the latest TestNG, that's what it is saying. Let me go with this one actually. If I'm getting some kind of doubt means always go with that TestNG. ChatGPT, go with this one. Okay. Oh, here is a problem. Why it is not working? Yeah, it's working. Sorry for that. I added one more test engine, test XML, right? That's what it's created. Now see that it's working right now. See that enable is equal to false I mentioned. If you see this one is, see that only one test case only showing this. See, it is executing only one. What about my test case 2? My test case 2 is skipped. How many test cases is showing? Only one. In the result is only one. Why this particular test case is only executed? What about this one? Because we just ignored it. Suppose, for example, I'm just deleting this. Can I run this one? See that two test cases are executed. What about the log? Two test cases are executed. How? Because we just removed that. Getting team? Okay, you will feel that why that error came. Forget about that. That is because of I added one more test. Okay, so if you added one more test, what you have to do means you have to add that parallel is equal to false. You should not mention that. You should use a none something. Okay, forget about that. Now, are you getting about this ignoring the test team? The specific test method temporarily disabling a failed test while investigating. That is also one of the main. I forgot to inform that. You feel that something like some 10 test cases are there. Something two cases are keep on failing. Okay. So you just temporarily you want to disable the particular means you can put it like ignore is equal to false. That is also one of the real time example. Okay, ignore enable is equal to false. It means that will be skipped. Okay, team. Any doubt before I go to the other one? Any doubt, team, about this enable is equal to false? No need to take special time, right? Just to mention that enable is equal to false. That's all. Okay. Next one is we are going to talk about the parameters. This is very very important. Parameter. What do you mean by parameter? Always people will be thinking that parameter. What is the general parameter? Parameter is nothing but we are always doing this kind of stuff, right? What is that? I am putting that method, sum, integer A, integer B. What is this actually? We studied in Java, right? This is nothing but a parameter argument. People will be calling as a different one, right? Argument they will call it as a parameter, different name, right? Argument, parameter. This is simply is a, what is that? Java stuff, right? Java, we are calling this kind of stuff. But TestNG parameter means what actually? TestNG parameters. In TestNG.xml, how we can get the parameter actually? In TestNG, how we can add the parameter the TestNG? That is what we are going to talk about right now. Okay, in TestNG, how the parameter is going to work. Before that, little bit story, then later we'll go to here. Okay. What is parameterization? Parameterization is TestNG allows you to pass the parameter to your test method. Please listen carefully. Allows you to pass the parameter to your test method. From where to where? From TestNG to your test method, wherever it is. Please listen carefully. TestNG.xml to your test method. That is what it gave the explanations. Be run multiple time with the different sets of test data. See that same test cases I can run with the help of test data. It is possible. Please listen carefully. This word is more important. Same test. Same test means same test cases. Instead of I can pull that actually same test cases or test scripts can be run multiple times with different sets of test data. Assume that I am creating the member. I am creating the member only for the Magaras. Is it fine? No. I want to create the member only for who's that? Forget the name. Prakash is fine? No. What will happen means, assume that actually in the real time is the data entry operations, right? Assume that actually data entry operation, what they will do, you are submitting the claim to the insurance company. Okay, what they will do, they'll huge people are in the queue, right? 100 people they will be in the queue. Every people they will be holding the form. Why they are holding the form? First person they will come, data entry operator they will put, enter the claims everything. Okay, what is the name? Your name is what is that? X. Okay, okay. What is the age? X. For everything. Then they will be finally submitting the claim. Okay, you have the dental claim, no problem. All the dental claim, everything come and enter the data, submit that. So every time you are entering the data manually means what will happen? 100 people means one person it is taking for 10 minutes means 100 people what will happen? It will be taking for 1000 minutes. Same repeated task, right? Instead of that, what we can do, we can automate it. How we can automate it actually? Submission of claim. What will happen? Instead of taking one by one, right? What we can take all the data and put it in one Excel. Okay, 100 data, 100% details. 100% details, you can put it in the Excel. So what will happen? All 100%, all 100 personal claim details. What you can do? Simply what you can do, this all the 100 first person claim detail, it will go and submit the claim. Then second person, then third person, then fourth person. So what will happen? All are the same claim submission only, but only thing is different type of data. Another example is you are going to create a bank account. Today 100 people came. 100 people came. What do you have to do? You have to get the data, put it in the Excel. Right? 100%. 100% data in Excel. So what will happen? You create only one small automation scripts, creation of bank account. What will happen? Simply run it. What will happen? It will take the first data from the Excel, pass it into your what is that? Your application. Account will be created. Then it will take the second data. Okay, for Magarasi, it will be created. Then what is that? Sriram. then Prakash, then Venkatesh, then Arimathukumar Nambi. So it will keep on creating the test data for 100 members. If you do it manually, means what will happen? It is a time taking. If you do it automation manner, simply trigger the suit and go for the home. Automatically, 100 bank account will be created. No need to do any kind of manual work. So, how this parameterization is happening? The term is they are calling as this test case is driven. This test case is driven by some kind of data. What kind of data? This is what my data. So this test is driven by some data. Test driven, right? Test driven. My test case is driven by data, right? So that is called as a data driven testing. People may ask, hey, have you worked on the data driven testing? Tell them yes. This is what the process. Data driven testing. We can create the framework accordingly. Data driven testing framework. Okay. This is called as a data driven testing framework. People may ask, hey, have you worked on the data driven testing framework? Yes. Tell them yes. Very easy. For the basic is you need to understand about this parameterization. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That so the same test cases, CSS scripts can be run with the multiple time. Multiple time means 100 time with the different test or test data. It means 100 different person. This helps to run the test case with varying input without duplicating the code. See, the same code will be executed. Only the data is different. That is called as a parameterization. But story is fine. Hopefully you understood about how to achieve it. That is what one of the main thing, right? How to achieve it. That is nothing but there are multiple ways we can achieve it. Okay. One is the add parameter. Another one is the what is that data provider. Okay, if you want to pass a small chunk of test data from what is that test engine to here means you can use parameters. Bulk chunk of data means you have to use a data provider. Please listen carefully. There is a two annotations. One is add parameters. Another one is data provider. Data parameters for small chunk of test data. Parameters, sorry. Parameter for small chunk of test data, but data provider for large chunk of test data. Okay, that I will explain data provider separately. Okay, let me explain about the add parameters. Okay, add parameters. Add parameters is how it is working everything. I will explain in the another video. Okay, maybe today evening if I get a time, I'll put this video one more time. You go through them. This is very, very important. Or in my parameterizations. Okay, I just don't want to skip it in faster manner because I have to go out. Okay, that's what. Before I close the sessions, any doubt about this? What is that? Annotations team. Okay, as I told, right, I'm closing this particular 10 o'clock. If I get a time, because summer is started, right? If I get a time, what I will do, I'll stick with this 10 o'clock and I'll put the time, I'll put the recordings, everything. If I didn't get the time, what I will do, based on my availability, I'll keep on posting this recordings, everything. Okay, but definitely we are going to meet it for a sample interview. At the same time, there is preparations, everything. That I will help you. So Maharasi, Chandra, and who's that? Sriram as well. I will help you how to prepare the resume, how to prepare for interview. That definitely we can meet in the Google Meet. Actually, Google Meet or Zoom Meet. Definitely we are going to discuss about that one. So meantime, Please refresh with your all the Java stuff and the testing stuff. Okay, maybe we'll take for at least in the next 6 to 7 classes it will take for including the framework, everything. Okay, once it is done, we need to ready for the your end-to-end interview. Okay, team. So please be ready because I don't want to, I'm going to add more videos. I'm not going to stop this session. Okay, but at least you guys have to start the interview. If you start the interview, at least you will get a lot more doubt. Bring those doubt to me or email me so that we can prepare it accordingly. Yes, definitely CI/CD pipeline. I'm going to cover it. Yes, definitely. Yes, CI/CD pipeline. I'm going to cover it. Obviously, yes. We can. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'll try to create some kind of Azure pipeline. Okay, if it is possible. Okay, if it is possible, locally Azure pipeline or Jenkins pipeline, I'll try to create it. We'll explain that. Will create your profile very stronger. Okay, have the interview. Okay, have keep on doing the interview. So based on your doubt, whatever the interview questions they are asking, note that, email to me. We can discuss further about that. Then you will get the job up easily. Okay, thanks for your time, and we'll meet. Sorry, in the next video. Thank you. Today evening, my evening time, I'm going to put one more video based on my time. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.